Good afternoon, students, as we enter into beautiful session again with our economics class. Okay. Now, in our previous class, we discussed a particular topic, and I believe that we understood it perfectly. So today we'll be moving on into another topic, which is the theory of consumer behavior. The theory of consumer behavior. All right. Now, looking at this topic, theory of consumer behavior, the key word here being consumer behavior. Now, the question is, what is consumer behavior? Now, consumer behavior, when we look at consumer, okay, there tends to be a correlation between the consumer and the environment. Now, when you try to study, okay, how a consumer reacts, okay, with respect to his environment, we don't study everything in generality. That means there are some certain things we take, or there are some certain things we pick up, right? Now, for instance, a consumer buys, right? Now, a consumer consumes. A consumer do a lot of things, right? So these are the things we study about the consumer. That's why most of the time I keep repeating and saying that anytime anything economics studies, we do not study everything about the consumer. The only thing we study is we study how he behaves, how a consumer behaves, or how a producer behaves with respect to production, consumption, and some certain key things economically. So most of the times, if you look at other social sciences subjects like, let's say, psychology or something like that, see, they tend to have something else they study about the human behavior. Now, under the consumer behavior or the theory of consumer behavior, we are going to be looking at a key subtopic here, which is utility. Now, what is utility? Utility in one word simply means what? Satisfaction. All right? When we say utility, what we mean by utility is what? Satisfaction. So now, the question is, when we say satisfaction, all right, fine, we say that utility means satisfaction in one word. So how can we define utility? So in defining utility, we say it can be defined. It can be defined as the ability of a commodity to satisfy human wants. Full stop. So when we see utility here, it's the ability of a what? Of a commodity to satisfy what? Human want. So when a commodity cannot satisfy your need, or when a commodity cannot satisfy your want, does it give utility? No, it doesn't. Okay? So utility is just the what? The satisfaction you derive when you consume a particular commodity. Now, let's move on to types of utility. Types. Okay, types of utility. Now, when we say types of utility, to a layman will now think of it as, okay, types of satisfaction. Yes, we have different types of utility. Number one, we have what we call the form utility. Form. Number two, we have what we call time. Number three, we have what we call place. Then number four, we have what we call possession. Possession utility. Now, looking at this, four types. The first one being form utility. Now, what do you think form utility is? Now, when you say the word form, okay, form is just like how something is being presented, okay? The imagery in which that thing is presented, right? So when I say form utility, it's a form of satisfaction you derive because of how you consume a commodity, or because of the satisfaction you derive from using that commodity. So let's say I have a mobile phone. A mobile phone. Let's just say a mobile phone like Nokia. Okay? Nokia, let me pick up a new Nokia. It's not new phone, Nokia like this, but let's just Nokia, right? Now, when I'm using a Nokia phone, all right, now, due to the fact that I'm using the phone, okay, the utility I'm getting from using that phone is called what? Form. Okay, now, let me leave the arena of mobile phone. Let me say I'm taking Coke. I'm drinking Coke. Okay, so when I drink my Coke, okay, the satisfaction I'm gaining from the Coke is called what? Form utility, because I have what? That Coke. Okay, now, so let's just give a brief definition to that form utility. So let me put it here. So for number one, let's define it. Form utility this is satisfaction derived as a result of consuming a particular commodity. All right. Then two, time. So what is time utility? Now, time is a very important factor in whatever we do in life, right? Now, most of the time, let me give you a scenario where you have a good friend and you are preparing for an exam. Then in that scenario, you are sleeping, he has a different hostel from yours, right? Then he was so engrossed in reading to the extent that his time, take note, time for exams is 9 a.m. Okay? Now, you have gone to do your own exam. Surprisingly, you went to your friend's hostel and you still see him or her reading. The exam was for 2 hours, so 9, 10, 11. So you went there by 11 a.m. and you saw him reading his books. Seriously. Now the question is reading, Abi, within this period of 9 to 11. But the question is that the right time? His exams is reading for an exam of 9. Now you have gone to do your own exam and you met him there still reading. So what has happened here? It means that he is doing the right thing at the what? At the wrong time. So the thing is, when we say time utility, okay, you are getting a particular commodity at a particular period in time. Okay, most of the time, I've heard of stories of people where they'll say they are hungry. Okay, they say they are hungry at a particular time. Let's say they are hungry by 4 p.m. in the evening. Okay, now within this 4 p.m., let's just give like laxity of, let's say, 30 minutes, laxity. So that means between 4 to 4:30 p.m. within this time, okay, sometimes your body system will still need food within this time. Now, maybe after 4:30, the hunger just goes down like that. It's gone. So within that time, when you bring food again to that person, he rejects the food because probably his body system does not want to take in any more food. So what we are trying to say here is that time utility is when you derive satisfaction, okay, from consuming a particular commodity within a period in time. So there must be a time factor. There must be a time factor. All right? So what we are trying to say is, most of the time, before utility can be satisfied, or before the principle of utility is satisfied, these four things must be what? Must be fully, accurate. That means if you say you are gaining utility over a particular commodity, number one, form must be checked. Number two, time must be checked. Number three, place must be checked. Then number four, possession is also what? Checked. Now, if these three is found there, but possession is out of it, we don't say utility has occurred. All right? So the four things must be in play before you can fully say, I have utility over this commodity. All right? So time utility. This is a satisfaction derived from consuming a particular commodity Do you have any question? Someone unmuted. Do you have any question? Oh, okay. So, okay. Within a particular period in time. All right. So we have that as time utility. Then number three, place. So if you look at the place, it means, this is now the geographical location. All right. Okay. So this is a satisfaction derived from consuming a particular commodity as a result of residing in a specific geographical area. Okay, so residing. Okay, so this is derived, from consuming a particular commodity due to the fact that you are in a particular geographical area. All right, so that is place utility. All right, so most of the time you can derive satisfaction because of where you are. All right, because of where you are. Most of the time you want to do something or certain things that you want to do some certain things. And if you're in the house, you cannot do those things except you move out of the house and go to where that thing is. All right? Good. So that is place utility. There are some satisfaction you can derive, in a particular place. Okay. Number 4, possession utility. Possession utility. Now, when we say possession utility, what do we mean by possession utility? Now, you see, there is a difference between possession and ownership, all right? So possession simply means you are gaining control over a particular commodity, all right? Or you have control over that commodity, but that doesn't mean that thing is yours, okay? Now, when you have ownership, it is yours. But when you gain possession, it is not yet yours. All right? So most of the time, when you have something, you can borrow your friend's biro or you can borrow your friend's phone. Immediately the phone is in your hand. Okay? That means the phone is in your possession. All right? So most of the time, for us to satisfy the conditions of utility, we must have possession of that item. Okay, so possession utility, this is a form of utility or a form of satisfaction derived as a result of having control over the commodity. All right, so that is possession utility. You have control over that commodity. Okay, so these are the types, okay, of utility. These are the types of utility, or you can call them the forms of utility. Okay, now let's move on into the schools of thought. The schools of thought. Now, the theory of consumer behavior generally has two schools of thought. All right, that means people that have a particular notion or a particular idea about this topic. Okay, so generally in economics, you have a lot of people that comes together and then they say a lot of things about different subject matter. All right, so if you look at the theory of consumer behavior, you are under this topic, you have two important schools of thought. So the first school of thought we have is what? Cardinal school of thought. The cardinal school. So school of thought, okay, let me write it in full there. School of thought. Then the next one definitely is my what? Ordinal. The ordinal school of thought. All right. Now, what then is ordinal? What then is cardinal? Now, the cardinal school of thought provided something we call cardinal utility. Okay, cardinal utility. Definitely ordinal to what did they propound? They propound ordinal utility. All right. So cardinal school of thought, what did they bring out? Cardinal utility. Then ordinal, what did they bring out? Ordinal utility. Now, under cardinal utility, okay, they have their own notion or their own idea. And what they are trying to tell us is that, one, they are saying that cardinal utility is always measurable in what? In numerical terms. That means whatever satisfaction you are experiencing or whatever satisfaction you are gaining from consuming a particular commodity, what cardinal is saying that we can measure it in what? In quantity. Or we can give it to you what? In numerical terms. All right. So that is their whole notion of theory of consumer behavior. That your satisfaction can be given, can be quantifiable in numbers. All right. Now, let's now see whether it is true. Okay. Now, the item or one of the two they use to measure your utility in what? In numerical terms is through the what? Through this, through money spent. For instance, you bought a laptop of 4.5 million. All right? Bought a laptop of 4.5 million naira. Okay? Now, you bought this laptop. You bought it due to some particular reasons or what you see as the specifications, right? Now, when you bought this laptop, okay, now we assume that you have derived a form of what? Of utility from that laptop. Now, as a cardinal guy, I come to you and say, wow, you spent 4.5